Hey, what's up, good people? It's your boy JD, and you know what time it is. It's time to cultivate.
And this is your girl, Erica J. And you already know we're going to accumulate and together
We will all
prosper.
prosper. It's good to be back in the booth.
What's up? What's up? It feels good.
Yeah, it does.
After a long week, it's always good when we can get back in the booth.
It's definitely been a challenging week, so I'm excited about today's show. So let's get right off into the buzz for today. The first buzz we have topic is the debut movie by Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan called Sinners. It came out yesterday, which was Good Friday. I intend to go see it. What is your take on the movie?
First, I'm like really, really glad that it's already doing really well in the box office. You know, people are really, really talking about how good this movie is. I can say honestly, seems to have like that big horror feel. And you know me, I'm not just real big into the horror, but this seems like it's more than just that. I was looking at the trailer and I do understand he's playing twins now. He's playing himself and his twin brother. So Michael B. Jordan. So that's pretty cool. But for them to have this type of evil that they have and the way that it transpires that I read about, you know, with them coming back and wanting to start this juke joint and everything, and within that music, the vampires start to come, and that's kind of crazy, but it's deep, and I can see a lot of stuff coming out from this movie. It makes me want to see it, and I'm not big on horror.
Yeah, I think it. I don't have a problem with. I'm not just a huge horror fan like I was when I was younger, but the message with the movies is what I'm getting at, and sort of like a Jordan Peele feel to it. That his movies are kind of on the horror plateau, but then it always has a message
Right.
dealing with racial tone or just whatever is going on throughout history, and such as this movie has from what I've read in the trailers I've seen. So I intend to go see it, and I look forward to it. I've only heard good things about it from folks who have saw it, so I
seems like it's going to be really deep.
Yeah. So the next buzz is about the young guy Karmelo Anthony was released on a $250,000 bond on April the 14th, and he's awaiting trial for the stabbing of Austin Metcalf. Now, the backdrop of this, Karmelo Anthony is not the we're not talking about the former NBA legend Karmelo Anthony. This is a young black teenager in a part of Texas where there was incidents of bullying that has been going on, and the young guy that he stabbed happens to be a white teenager. So now you have a whole element of the racial undertones along with just everything that's going on. But his bail was reduced from $1 million to $250,000, his bond rather, so he can be out on bail until his trial. That upset a lot of folks, of course, who don't share the same complexion as us. They felt like he should stay locked up until the trial, and it's dividing not only that community in Texas, but now it's big on the internet. We know throughout history how things has happened when it comes to someone of another race killing one of us, and now that it's been flipped, people are kind of comparing what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse, who went up to a protest and shot two people, with what this young man did. And of course, you got people who have their differences with it. But what is your take on it?
First, that's not the same thing. Definitely not. My take is I was like really looking into this story, and I always try to look at the facts. So bullying was definitely at play here, because it's like Anthony goes into the tent. He's told by Austin to move, and for him to say the words, "If you touch me, then you'll see what's gonna happen." So he touches him. If you punch at me, you'll see what's gonna happen. When you're saying things like that, you've been experiencing bullying. You've been having some run-ins with this guy before. And here he is, you're feeling like you have to protect yourself. For him to even bring, the knife anyway, he feels like he has to protect himself. So it's a clear cut to me from what I have read. This seems to be a clear cut of self-defense. And the fact that they would actually reduce his bail says a lot, because in cases like these, you wouldn't have been surprised if they did not do that at all. Yeah. Being that he's black and he was white, the fact that they even reduced it, hopefully they will do him fairly. He's on house arrest now, so he has the ankle monitor. So I like the way this is starting out, so hopefully it will play out for the best for both parties.
Before we move on, I'll just say this. Threats has been made to the black judge who was presiding over the case. So once again, it just shows you how things are in this country, regardless of how you feel, conservative, liberal, black, white, Republican, Democrat, city living, country living. This has always been an issue in this country. Some people like to not bring up the elephant in the room. I never have a problem with it because I've seen it throughout my lifetime.
Right.
But when you start making threats to a judge, just because you don't like the outcome of something that they're doing, rendering down for the moment, that's a problem. And you got people who are being quiet about it who normally would be vocal if it was the other way around.
Right.
So we'll see how it plays out. It's unfortunate someone's life was taken. It's unfortunate for this young man that his life may be ruined if he gets sentenced and is not looked upon as self-defense because he's 17, due to graduate next month, track star. But
even if he's not sentenced, even just dealing with this whole thing now at the age of 17, and you've never been in trouble, you've never had to deal anything, the whole experience is just something that he's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, so we shall see down in old Texas how this plays out. I won't be surprised about the possibilities of how it may play out, but we'll see. Right. God is still in control, so we'll see. So now, the last but least, last night, the Memphis Grizzlies won the play-in game to get into the playoff. They beat the Dallas Mavericks. And so now, as the prize, they get the Oklahoma City Thunder, who they have not beaten since 2022. It is 2025, so something's got to give. Oklahoma City Thunder is a hell of a team. Memphis has the capacity to do it, but they just got to go out there and play. So, but they are in the playoffs. They are the 8th seed playing against the number 1 seed. So they will be playing tomorrow, which will be Easter. And so I want to wish the Memphis Grizzlies well. Jaren, and Desmond Bain. We're gonna need the big three to play like the big three can play in order to have a chance in this series.
Oh yeah.
So go Grizz.
Go Grizz.
All right.
I'm just getting into the basketball thing and stuff, but I love them.
Yeah. So and this comes from a person who's always been a Bulls fan, but I live here in Memphis, so when I'm not going for the Bulls, of course I go for the Grizzlies.
Come on.
All right. So today we have another esteemed guest. I met this brother a few years ago. We've crossed paths at different functions, and looking forward to some collaborations here in the near future. We've had conversations, schedules have kind of haven't aligned, but it aligned today for us to have him on as a guest. So this brother is a seasoned business broker, military veteran, and entrepreneur, rooted in service and leadership. He helps business owners buy and sell companies. He's a fellow author. He's an author of 4 books. He's also a fellow podcast. He's a podcast host, and he's not afraid to speak on mental toughness, discipline, and what it takes to win, something that I have in common with him with that. So without further ado, I want to introduce Lawrence Thompson.
What's going
Yeah.
on? What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
What's going on, man?
Glad to
Appreciate y'all.
have you here.
Hey,
Yeah,
appreciate
Is
y'all
this-
having me.
Yeah, something that you want to share that I didn't mention. I just kind of gave a synopsis of your bio, man. But feel free to share with it.
Well, I mean, you guys hit all the points. You know, I
Okay.
hit all the highlights. I mean, it could be a whole. I got a list of stuff. Like
Okay.
it's literally a list of stuff. I try my best to put myself in places that not only help me when it comes to speaking and stuff like that, but it also helps me when I'm interacting with other people and engaging and going there. So yeah, we can rattle off some more stuff, but that's good. That's a good base right there.
Okay.
We can rock with that.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get right off into this interview. I want to ask you, how did serving in the military help shape your business acumen?
Phew. So in the military, you get this opportunity to you get a bunch of people, right? It's like I can go over and deploy, and I can leave with 10 people. I know them. I've been with them. I hung out with them. I know everything about them. But then I'll get another 30 that I don't know nothing about. And so now you have a mission. You have an execution that you have to perform. And how do you get that team to work how they need to work? How do you get that team to move to fulfill this mission that has a timestamp, that has a timeline? And so in the business world, I see that thing is very key. One, emotional intelligence. How do you communicate and connect with people, right? If I never had a connection with my team, they would never work for me, right? I've been fired twice, and I've been fired twice by the team because I trained them, I instilled in them, and I knew them, and they was like, "We don't need you no more. We'll call you if it catches on fire, we're gonna hit you up. If the general come down, we're gonna hit you up." So for businesses, I see that's a little lacking there, that emotional intelligence, know your people, because without the people, your assets don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it just don't. So I've seen that in places where businesses kind of, we got the system, we can rock it, whatever. Well, if you don't have people to rock it, they're not there. And if you got disgruntled people that don't rock it, it's gonna cost you more money for a disgruntled person than actually training them right. So it helped me in a tremendous way on emotional intelligence. It helped me in a tremendous way when it comes to team building. When it comes to leadership, people think they can really lead people until people start leading themselves. And what I mean by that is that if they start leading themselves and they create their own like infrastructure or team in the midst of the team, and you're not a leader, you it's hard to grab them back, because now they've created their own culture outside of you. And now you're going to be doing is screaming, screaming, screaming. And the quick thing that a business would do is fire. We'll fire and hire another. How much that costs? But if you set the tone and know how to set the tone and know how to really lead, then you'll have people that if you tell them to go sweep the floor, they'll sweep the floor. So that's how the military really helped me when I see in the business world of those three key points.
Because it's all about teamwork. I didn't serve in the military. My father did. I mean, I did Air Force ROTC when I was at TSU in order for credit towards my degree. Now, the colonel wanted me to go into the officer program, which if I had the heart for it, like meaning that heart wanting to do that, I would have. But that wasn't where my heart was. I needed those classes towards my degree, but I excelled because the physical fitness test, the mental IQ test, I did well in all of that. It was cadet of the month and back in '97. So yeah, I'm telling my age. At
Age,
Tennessee
man. We in
State,
the 40s.
Yeah,
Come on
yeah.
now.
But it takes like with any sports team, military, or business team, everyone has to play their position in order for everything to work. So
Exactly.
that experience that you had, I see how that transcend with you over now being in civilian life in the business world.
You said a very important thing. Everybody has to play their part.
Yeah.
So being that we was just talking about leadership, I have a huge passion for leadership. I have a master's in leadership. I've done youth leadership coaching, youth leadership boot camp. So I want to stick right here in this. How did your background in leadership fully begin, from like I know you've done the brokerage, the helping to buy and sell companies. So how did it begin?
Crazy thing is about it, I'm the firstborn. I'm the first grandchild. I'm the first great grand. So, I've been number one for a minute. So that actually helps when you have in the family that had that dynamic go up. You the first one. Everybody's looking at you. Everybody's coming to talk to you. Everybody's asking for advice. And so I had to learn how to do that with my sisters and with my cousins. Even my aunties and uncles sometimes ask me questions, whatever. So that kind of built into that. And then when I went into the military, I was a knucklehead when I went in. Everybody was like, you go to the military, you get disciplined and all that. Sure. Sure, you're right. We do. But I'm from Memphis. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Memphis, and if you challenge me, we might have a different challenge on our hands. And so I end up like bucking against the system. So I tell everybody like this, even when I go speak, I tell them, I say, hey, I'm a leader that hates following. And then they say, well, a great leader is a great follower. I am a great follower. I'm an amazing follower. I would do what I'm told, but I hate following. So you give me a couple weeks and you leave me alone, I'm gonna end up leading the thing. So don't leave me there by myself. You know how that old saying say, if you put me in the jungle with the lions, I'm coming back leading them. I'm that guy. He put me there. So the military, as I was in the military the first 2 years, leadership wasn't even in my wheelhouse. I didn't care. I just trying to do me. And then, after I gave my life to Christ and started to follow under the leadership of Christ and seeing how leadership could be done, and then how do I can pour those informations and those tools and those things that the Bible was saying in helping people to get what I really want. Like ultimately, as a leader, you want what you want. And so you're leading the people to get what you want. So if I want them to have that result so that I can go back and talk to the upper chain of command, there's something I want. But I can't lead them without having the right view, right perspective. And so that military, that's when that started to really hone in and really push down. So from youth, play sports, all that type of stuff, class clown. I was always up in the first ones in the class. My teacher used to kick me out quickly. We in our 40s, so they used to put out there like, I got a referral for you. It's sitting right here. Your name is on it. All I got to do is sign it and call the principal. So I had a referral before I even walked into school. So, but still that leadership was there. I just didn't know how, one of y'all words, cultivate it.
Right.
I didn't know how to cultivate that leadership. And so in the military, when I gave my life to Christ and started to come under the tutelage of one mentor of mine that was a leader, it started to cultivate that. And then now it's like, let's go, still go. So that's where it came from.
Gotcha. That's impressive too.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, but hey, I'm here now though, right?
Yeah, well, we all have a backstory on how we once was being young to where we are now. Some people allowed whatever happened to them when they was younger to build them to be the man or woman they are today. Some people still play those little kiddie games and they get kiddie results because at some point you got to mature and got to learn from your mistakes as well as from your triumphs. So I definitely get it, man. Being a fellow author myself, you have 4 books. So I wanted to ask you, which one was your most challenging and which one is your favorite?
So my most challenging one was the first one, Sore Loser, The Secret Passion Within. And the reason why I was challenging because I never thought I could do one. I had teachers tell me, hey, you one of my worst writers, all this type of stuff. Yeah. And I heard all those different sayings. And so, and the way I talk now, I worked hard to talk like this. I didn't have the filler words and all. I still say a little bit, but I could get past that. I didn't have those double syllables or those 8-letter words. That wasn't in my vocabulary. So I didn't know I could do this first one. And so, but it was also hard because I was pouring my story out where I went from, having everything and went to nothing. And I leaned into being a sore loser as my secret passion. That me being a sore loser actually helped me. When I was you gotta think about it, in football or basketball or any sport, when you lose, you go back and learn more film. You get in the gym more.
Yeah.
That sore loser feel, it fuels you. It actually builds you up to say, go do something more. If you one of those people that got grades, oh, I got a B, but I'm supposed to get an A. Guess what you finna do? You finna study more. So instead of me denying it, I embraced it. And so because I didn't have arrogance with it, that would potentially hurt people. If you're a sore loser and you got arrogance with it, you're gonna hurt people. I had humility on my side. It actually helped me to use that as my thing. So I had to relive my life of losing everything, divorce, all that type of stuff that I was going through in writing that book. But I had to get over that limited belief that I can write a book. Once I wrote that first one, granted, it's not, an Encyclopedia Britannica. It is actually a flip book.
Yeah.
It's actually a flip book, and I wrote it how I thought it. I literally wrote how I thought. I was asking people, how do you write a book? I was paying to go learn and all this stuff. And I looked in the sky at myself and said, self? And I said, listen, it's my book.
Yeah.
It's my book. I get it, publishers. I want to be able to do a massive book that could be a New York bestseller. Got it. But right now, it's my book. So I wrote it how I wrote it. I even put a caution in there. Caution, there are double negatives and run-on sentences in here. I did. Okay. I put it right in there. There's double negatives and run-on sentences. But that's how I feel. Well, the impact is gonna be on that.
That's real. I mean, my very first book was less than 50 pages.
Yeah.
5 Dimensions of a Man. And I did it old school way because I went and purchased a notebook from Dollar Tree, and I wrote it out. I wrote it during the Daniel fast that I was doing with my church at the time back in 2014. And that was my first time ever writing a book rather. Yeah. I knew I had it in me. Didn't really know anybody at the time who was authors like that personally. I mean, I knew some people far as who I was maybe social media friends with, but I knew them through social media. I didn't know them in real life. And most of those were ladies who were authors. I didn't run into any men who were authors until later on. But I did it because once I had my mind set to something, having that former athletic background, that drive, like I like with the Mamba mentality from the late great Kobe Bryant, I'm fit to go for it. Yeah. So, you did what you did with your first book because it was your book, and it was your start on your journey to writing. Mm-hmm. So I applaud you for that because people ask all the time, I'm thinking about writing a book. I'm like, well, just do it.
Yeah, just go write
it. just write it, and then you can get help along the way. But the biggest key is to put the pen to the paper or put your fingers to the computer, however you want to do it now, which now I don't have to write it out like that. I mean, I could still, but I can just start typing what I want to do. But at that time, being my first book, that's how I did it.
Yeah.
And so, I tell up-and-coming authors or anyone who say, I want to write a book and they're serious, I'm like, it's your story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, just start on it. Yeah. Make time out and just put it to the paper, and then it'll come to you. Whatever's in you is going to flow out of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
the crazy thing about it is that I wrote that book in 3 days. I wrote the book in 3 days. I didn't have a place to stay. I had just my truck. And I worked up to get some money. I paid for a hotel room. I locked myself in that hotel room. I went and bought pizza because you can eat that twice. And I stayed in that room until I got it done in 3 days.
That's determination.
Cranked it out.
No matter what, you just get it out because I have been working on mine, working on other things, and I tell myself, yeah, you've offered a whole lot of excuses, so it's time out for that. I'm like, I've actually been getting on it, and even said when I know that I'm going to have it out, which I'll let that get out later. But I already know. But both of you have been like very inspirational for me. Awesome. So I thank both of you for that because this thing in out.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be honest with yourself because I know when I sit down with what the notes I've already had, because I'm just like Jerry. I write it first because I get it down. And then when I start typing, God starts speaking and taking what I wrote, and it just comes out. So I know how it rolls just from writing stage plays. So that's commendable.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I understand you recently retired from the military. Congratulations, and thank you for
Congrats.
your years of service.
My pleasure.
For your service, man.
What can we expect next from Lawrence Thompson?
Ooh. So right now, I feel like I get a second life. I went in right out of high school at 18, had a 2-year break. I thought I was done with the military and went back in. I did 2 branches. I did the Navy and I did the Air Force. And so I was like, so when that happened, it's over, it's done. I'm going out this gate and like, I'm not wearing this uniform ever again. I was like, I get a new life. I get a new opportunity to build something that I may have dreamed about, that I may have wondered about. Like, I get to do this thing. I get to say no to things that I want to say no to, and I get to say yes to things that I want to say yes to. And so for me, it is an open canvas. I do have direction where I'm a business broker where I help businesses actually sell and help buyers actually buy businesses, but also the things of podcasting or, you know, I got a children's book in me that I want to write. You know, I want to go see Mount Rushmore and hit a couple of state parks and stuff like that. Like, so these things are, I'm not going to call them my bucket list. These are just things I'm finna hit. You know, and so I don't have to spin up and be ready to deploy or really tap into the military lifestyle. So what's for me now is that how do I paint this second act of my life? And I feel youthful today than I ever felt when I was in my 20s. Like, it's like crazy. Like, my friends be like, yo, you got energy like crazy. I was like, because I'm excited about life and having life and knowing it. So for me, like I said, it's an open canvas. It has some direction where I'm going with the business brokerage and speaking and stuff like that and training on leadership. But over here, what are these experiences that I want to have? I've experienced a lot. I've seen a lot of countries, but in America, I haven't really seen America. There's a lot of things in America that I have not touched or seen. And we have a great country. Like, we have the tropics, we have the deserts, we have the in-betweens, we have the ups and the north and the mountains and the volcanoes. We have all this stuff in one country. Why not go check it out, man? Why not go see it? So I get this opportunity. So that's what's in my head right now. What is there? I get to build a second life and see what that turned into.
See, you got me. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, he got me excited. I can't wait till I can just really dive into just what I know I was created to do. That's an awesome feeling. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Well, my next question, since you're on the CAP, and we always ask a question pertaining to the acronym Cultivate, Accumulate, Prosper, I want to ask you, how has your vast experience, civilian and military, allowed you to cultivate your brand?
Ooh, man. So everybody has these hills and valleys, right? The greatest thing, man, is that in love relationship with God. It helped me to cultivate the scattered parts of my life. I've been through divorce. I've been homeless. I've seen the ups and downs. I had to go to, to deployments. I've seen this thing that's heavy right now is mental health. I've seen where I had to stop 2 suicides, and I've seen where, sexual harassment was heavy, and I was in the front lines of all these, and then try to piece my life together to try to stay sane, and then believing that you can be something. That in love relationship helped me cultivate all this stuff that I have now. The wisdom that comes out now is super amazing. So when I start diving into like, all right, God, I'm not one of those prayers that had those high, lofty, spooky prayers. I just be like, God, what's up, man?
Right.
Hey, how do I piece this together to help my life And then once it's affecting me, how do I help somebody else? Because I want my voice to be as powerful. And you can call me arrogant, cocky, whatever, but God gave me one of the greatest gifts that he got. I get to speak.
Uh-huh.
I get to speak.
The voice.
So my voice, he put grace on that thing to touch people and connect with people. Yo, how do I use this thing, though, to impact people? And so that relationship helped me cultivate all the scattered pieces so that now I can use them in the business world. I can use them in day-to-day relationship. They even asked me, like, do you ever get angry? No, why? It's a waste of time. It's wasted time for me to get angry with you. I'll just, okay. Because at the end of the day, if I focus on the target and I don't just take the target out and move, if I just focus here the whole time and just wait on you forever, everything else that I could have been doing,
exactly,
I can't get done. So I have
you
no
waiting on
point.
somebody else.
Yeah, I have no point to get mad at you. Like, it's not, to me, it's a waste of time. So I'd much rather walk away from you or let you have it. That's my favorite thing. I'll let you have it. Because you want to embrace that emotion. Go ahead. But God had to help me with it because I was an angry person. I didn't know why this stuff happened to me, why I'm sleeping in my car, why this, I'm a good guy. I didn't do nothing bad. And he had to, that relationship helped cultivate that. So
Even though I haven't dealt with those exact things, the things that I have dealt with in my life, that still speaks to it. You know, the detours that we go through, even the book that I'm working on is From Detours to Destiny. How to make it on this journey, because we all have so many things that we've had to go through, but it allowed us to cultivate, you know, and keep on growing and keep on moving and learn not to fall or to stop in the detours. So that's amazing.
detours are never to stop for the destination.
Exactly.
The destination is always there. If you go down a road, and let's say we go from here to Little Rock, they got to fix the road. They got to do certain things. So it's going to be detours in those roads. But Little Rock ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
So your purpose and your destiny is not going nowhere. It's just a detour that you may have participated in, or it may be something that's outside you that happened that way, right?
And are you going to give up right there, or are you going to keep moving?
Just keep going, because eventually you're going to get to the end of the detour, and you still going into the destination. So
That's it. I'm sorry, I get excited.
Oh,
I
it's
get
all good.
excited. When we start talking about this, I get excited.
It's all good.
Over all your years in the military, in business, in everything that you have done over the years, what would you say you have accumulated?
Wisdom. I've accumulated wisdom and peace in the wisdom.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like trusting that wisdom, trusting that information, trusting that knowledge and that understanding. A lot of times, even with me, sometimes I didn't trust what I know. I didn't trust what I went through, that it trained me to be this, and appreciate it. Like I wake up every day thanking God, not just because I woke up. I thank God for the information that I learned, the depth of the information. One of my prayers I was talking to God about, and I was like, God, you know, I got a heart that I want to be wealthy, but where is the wealth? He's like, I give you the power to get wealth. Okay, that's cool. I know you said that in the word Deuteronomy. You know, you told us that you give us the power to get wealth. He's like, okay. So then I started reciting all the scriptures and Proverbs about wealth, wisdom. But they say wisdom brings riches with it. I was like, yo. He's like, if I taught you, I've given you the riches. You just got to execute and believe that it's there and trust it. And so I didn't trust it. Now that I trust it, I'm seeing like stuff just flowing all over the place.
That's
like,
what I'm talking about.
Things are just coming my way. Opportunities are showing up. But I had to get to the point that accumulated wisdom and trust in that wisdom, trust in that knowledge, trust in that information. So that over time locked me in. So now I trust it. Even though it may not have manifested in my life today, I still trust it.
And with everything that you've dealt with, the living in your vehicle and all of that, and then going from, you know, the vehicle to the hotel, and wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I trust it.
Yeah, I'm a person that when it comes to wisdom, one of my favorite books in the Bible is Proverbs, and I would say this: I'm like a wisdom junkie in the sense of I read it and I know it and I even say it sometimes, and then but the hardest thing a lot of times with that is when you're actually dealing with something and you know it, you know what's on the outside of it, but in the midst of it, the flesh will cause you to either get anxiety or get angry, depending on who you are and depending on what you've been through or whatnot. So, I mean, from time to time, I still wrestle with that, but at the same time, um, if I say a brain drop, that's something that I've thought about and it relates to something either I've experienced or seen or someone else that I've seen, throughout my life or throughout day to day, just matriculating through the work week or whatnot. And when it comes to me, I make sure I make a note of it and be like, okay. So, but that wisdom, is key to anything you're trying to do, because wisdom plus any life experiences allows you to press forward in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish or whatever adversity you're going up against. Yeah. So for the prosper, what I want to ask you is with your accomplishments and endeavors, how has that allowed you to prosper?
It put me in rooms that I dreamed of being in, but I thought I couldn't be in. Like the networking, the shaking hands of people, like even coming here today, I knew about this, the studio, and then we came in and talked to the producer and everything, and Eric was like, him, like yeah, but just those connections like really helped me. So my prosper side is I get the opportunity to hear other people's successes, and it actually fuels me to continue to go through my successes. Like it's not a monetary value that would happen. That will happen when it happens. But to get a chance to hear, like kid from the projects, kid from South Memphis, and you get to go in there and people talking about, oh, we're gonna build this and it's $10 million, or we're gonna build a nonprofit and we're gonna teach people chess, teach young boys chess, and then we're gonna help them prosper. And these people are movers and shakers in the city, like you guys on y'all podcast, like y'all had the mayor here, like. Get the opportunity to shake hands and they know your name. It's not like, oh yeah, you that guy. No, hey Lawrence, how you doing? And you go in the place and you're not trying to make yourself to be known. It's just that relationship with there. So it prospered. Everything that I went through and whatever, I would say I'm prosperous in the hands that I shake. The hands that I shake. And a guy, he's a motivational guy on YouTube, he talk about the more hands you shake, the more money you make. And I'm not looking for it to be the money, but it is an attachment to that. So if I'm looking to say, hey, I want to take 8 boys on a plane ride and we go overseas and we rough it for 3 days and then turn around and go to a 5-star hotel that I know so they can experience how these people live and experience the high life and then come back to America to appreciate it. Hey, I know the people that I can talk to say, hey, I need to make this happen. And because that relationship and those connections are there, we can get it done. So I'm prosperous in the people that I know.
I love it.
That's powerful, man. That makes a whole lot of sense, and yeah, definitely. So now we're gonna move on to the segment of the show where we have a little fun.
Okay.
This segment is called Top 5. And I'm gonna give
LeBron is not there. No, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna get. Hey, I'm not gonna make any comments on that, man. You know what I'm saying? We steady trying to get subscribers. You can have somebody up here like, oh,
I'm sorry, my bad.
Nah, you good. I'm just. But I'm gonna ask you my top 5, and this is not in any particular order, but I'm gonna ask you your top 5 military action movies. So these are my 5, even though they're not in any particular order. Lone Survivor, Red Tails, Top Gun, the first one, the one from '86, Black Hawk Down, and Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis. All of those movies, man. Not only were they engaging, and most of them, with the exception, I think of maybe one actually dealt with real life, based off real life situations that happened. So, but those are in my top 5 of military action movies. So what is yours?
So I don't watch a lot of them. So to say a top 5 is empty. I got 3, but I didn't watch a lot of military movies while I was in. So Black Hawk Down was number 3. Put on that level there. Number 3, Black Hawk Down definitely was that gut wrenching watching that. Those fellas go through that. The second one is and it's more of a action kind of fun movie with aliens, Battleship, because I did the Navy, because I could understand the terminology and everything. So, and then the last one, y'all gonna laugh. No, I got another one. Number 4, Glory. Denzel tier. So that, and the last one, it was a fun movie, but I went to the military, but as a military guy, it's Major Payne, man.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Major Payne. You know what I'm saying? You can't, hey, come on now. One, tell me. Come on now. Hey, Major Payne was it. So that's my number one. Like when it's tough and stuff happening, we pop on Major Payne and we laugh still we was laughing for years on that. So
Gotcha.
See, I wasn't too good when it came to like the military movies and stuff. But had I had that one, that would have been on my list. Cause I'm sorry, y'all. I was like, y'all probably laugh at me, so I knew you was going to say that when you said it. I knew it.
Come on now.
Okay.
Got a piece of candy in your pocket. That's my favorite line.
My top 5 for you. So it's going to be your top 5, and I'll add to it a little bit to just in case you don't have some in that era. But top 5 leadership coaches, business coaches, motivational speakers. So I can start. I go with of course, Eric Thomas. I'm a very big Lisa Nichols fan, simply because she is a woman. You have so many men out here doing this thing. And I love her because she instills so much into you. And she's one of the very few Black women that I see doing that. Leadership coach, I love John Maxwell. I'm very huge on John Maxwell. Tony Robbins is good. He'll kind of fall in there to the 4th. And the 5th one would be, he's with Eric Thomas a lot. For I don't know why. His last name was escaping me, but Jeremy. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So my top 5, Lisa Nichols, right? She is one that kind of helped out with that. Eric Thomas was a good spark. I have Myron Golden. He's one on my list. And these other guys, they're not here anymore, but I still listen to them. Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is my top person that I actually listen to. So
I don't know if Jim Rohn. I have to look him up. Zig Ziglar, I have heard, but
yeah,
okay,
Jim Rohn he's that guy.
Okay.
He talks about philosophy of the mind, but leadership, and so he is that guy that's there. And I think it's a lot more women that are out there that we see now. I think it's more kind of measured evenly now. We start to kind of roll them out, but we do see more women that have made a greater impact when it comes to speaking on leadership. And so there's a lot more. It's just Lisa Nichols. She was that first one.
Yeah.
She was that first one that made
She
you cry.
inspired me.
Yeah, that first one would be like,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah.
got me over here crying.
I'm a G.
Come on now. Can't be doing that." South Memphis. No, go ahead.
Well, that's great. And now before we go into our next segment, we want everyone that's watching, you see that link below, hit subscribe. If you ever watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. If we have impacted you in any way, please subscribe, share with your friends and family members, co-workers, colleagues, but definitely hit that link to subscribe. So now we're about to head into the next segment, which is the banana peel. So we're about to peel back this banana.
Okay. So here we go with the banana peel. And if you have a banana peel question that you would like to send in to us, you will see the email address right there.
Send that
That's
to
the CAP Podcast 3 at gmail.com.
The CAP Podcast 3 at gmail.com. Send
right
those
there.
questions, and we select your question, your email, then hey, it'll be on our next show.
Yes. So here we go. Let's peel back this banana. I went through a rough patch where I lost almost everything except my breath of life. Friends got ghosts, family became distant. All I had was my faith in God and my determination to get back on my feet. Well, now, a year later, I am experiencing the abundance of bouncing back financially, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now, some family is reaching out a little more. A few former friends call themselves checking up on me. They say I'm acting funny, but when I was in need, they weren't there for me. Am I wrong for keeping them at bay? And this is coming from Daniel in Fort Worth, Texas. So, Daniel, I understand exactly how you feel. A lot of us have been there. You know, we've had so much to happen to us. Life be lifing. And then when they start seeing that the money's rolling in, when they start seeing, oh, he's actually getting there, then they want to start coming around. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest. Us being human, you're well within your right to keep them at bay because you have to use discernment. Everybody is not out there to just really be your friend. And you're starting to see that now, which is bringing you to even ask this question. Everybody is not meant to be your friend. Sometimes you have people that are in your life for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. Those people who've been in your life and who are still there, even when you were down, even when you were going through, they were still there. Yeah, those are your lifetime friends. You can keep those around. But then you have some that's just there for a season. And even with family, they can still be family. You can still see them. You can still be cordial. But sometimes you do have to keep some people at bay. Sometimes you do have to use discernment and know who's right for you to be around, and who's not. I've said it before on this podcast. Sarah J. Roberts said once that they're still connected to the blood, just not connected to you. So you use discernment, and if you see that they do not have your best interests at heart, don't fall in, because sometimes allowing them to come in can start you to losing money a little bit quicker because they're borrowing money and they're not returning it. So people who leave you alone, then you do kind of have to keep them at bay, but use discernment.
That was very good. Good words of wisdom from Erica. I would just tell you this, Daniel. Now you're not wrong for keeping them at bay. I've been there a time or two in my lifetime where I've experienced a little bit of that, not only from family, but from people who I thought were friends, even a ex or two that I was with. You just got to realize whatever's going on with you, the journey that the Most High is taking you through is what you experience. And people cannot feel what you feel, and they may not see what you see And that doesn't give them, if they really care about you, they will show it in some form or fashion of support or encouragement. But, you know, if they don't, then you got to take it for what it is. Stay on your journey like you did. But you'll know who's there really for you and who's not, who just want to come back around once things starting to seem on the up and up.
Right.
Because, you know, we all have to experience our own journey, and that journey is filled with adversity, it's filled with triumphs, it's filled with losses, it's filled with wins. And sometimes the people closest to you can be the ones that hurt you the most. And once they do, you know, it's okay to be like, I got to deal with you from a distance. And that's just that. I have no problem with that. I used to wrestle with that back in the day. Now, you know, it is what it is, how I look at things, because it doesn't take much for a quick text, a phone call, the same way someone would do their colleagues, their whoever. If you family, if you're a friend to them, whatever you are in their life, it doesn't take much to do that. And we know everyone's dealing with things. That's true. But at the same time, it's just the nature, the times that we're living in a lot. And that's no excuse, but it's just a reality that people kind of get so self-absorbed with what they got going on, or either whatever the case may be, that when you're dealing with something, you know, and they don't see it or think, oh, you're strong, he'll be all right. Well, yeah, you may be strong, but that doesn't mean that you're still human. You know, none of us down here are X-Men. Now, we're not mutants, even though we like to think that we are. And we're not the Avengers, even though we like to think that we are. We're still human. Like, you know,
True.
so you just got to take that with a grain of salt. You know who used discernment, know who is being sincere and who's not. And whoever has a problem with that, you know, like the abbreviation TDB, that's just too damn bad. That's just how it's going to be. So we want to ask, I guess, what's your thought on this banana peel, man?
So I'm going to be totally to the other side. I'm going to tell you wrong. And the reason why I'm going to tell you wrong is that, Daniel, you said God was there with you, right? And God separated you in a way where he could get you where you had to be. But when I look at that, you said they called you. Now they called you. Now they came to check on you. And so now they didn't ask you for money. If they asked you for money, yes, be the discerning person to do that. But the greatest way for them to be around you, to see that you have overcome, is by you doing what you need to do. Do your good. Don't keep them at bay. Let them see the good that God has brought in your life. Let them see the emotional good that you have, and let it just be so much of a light that's shining, because now you give testimony to God. Right? You give testimony to how God is operating in your life. Then you give testimony to how your belief in your faith is. And so don't discredit them. Don't keep them at bay. I get it. I understand. Yes, you are absolutely correct. They did not show up for you. They probably wasn't intended to show up for you. God had to show you that he was your dude. He had to show you that he was your lock-in, and they wasn't. You probably was codependent on them. I was in that space. I was codependent on other people, and I had to lock in on God, trust God. And so God has now taken you to that place where you at another level. You're doing great things. He don't want you to hide that thing. He wants you to go around those same people who didn't call you when they wanted to call you, who watched you go through your struggle, and he wants you to show up and show them that he showed out in your life, because they gonna go through something. There's a valley and there's a wrong turn for them. And you could be the one that give them the hope. You the hope giver. So I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. Don't keep them at bay. Show up, love on them, and then let that happen, man. And like I said, for money, though, discern. I don't give people money like that. But emotionally showing up and you showing up for them, you're not doing it unto them. You're doing it unto one who called you.
That was good. That was really good. I can definitely see that. That was good.
And, you know, those two different perspectives, and I get what you're saying. the key in all that, whether you go that route or what we were saying, is discernment. Like you can be an example, and I
Yeah.
get that. That's why I was saying like discern who's truly, sincere and
Right.
who is not, because you know, and it doesn't even have nothing to do with even dealing with giving out money or anything like that. Just the point of who really is coming around and see that you're doing well and be like, you know what? They may say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize how you was experiencing something, but for those who saying you're acting funny, you'll be able to discern if them saying that and they really truly were trying to make amends and say, hey, I was wrong for, or whatever the case may have been, or if they just saying that because they feel you should be obligated to them, and use your discernment. And the Heavenly Father is gonna love you. He knows that we're still in our flesh. But as to what you were saying, I guess was saying, Lawrence was saying, you definitely can take that approach, but just use discernment with that. And then if you keep, discernment will allow you to know who to embrace and who to keep at bay.
So with all of this advice that you've been given with Lawrence, with me, with Jerry, you can take so much from all three of those things, and it can help you make a really great decision, Daniel. We're rooting for you.
All right, Daniel. So now we have had a great show today. Definitely glad that you came on. So now we give you the chance to let all our listeners and viewers know how they can contact you for your services, your products, as well as your social media handles. So I have at it.
Cool. Well, first I want to say I appreciate you guys for allowing me to come in and actually be on y'all podcast. I had a great time today, and we laughed and poured out some stuff. And so to all the viewers that are watching, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you leave comments, make sure you leave your questions so the banana peel can get answered. Connect with this podcast here. So I'm grateful that you guys allow me to be here. So I'm thankful for that. You can find me on all social media platforms at Lawrence E. Thompson Jr., where you type that in, you pull me up, or you can actually Google me and I'll come up, I promise you, on your first page for my services. If you have a business that you're looking to sell, or if you're a person that's a buyer, hit me up. My email address is Lawrence, LAWRENCE, @cbiteam.com. You can hit me up there and we can have a conversation about it. And so that's where you can hit me up. But like I said, all my social media is Lawrence E. Thompson Jr. You'll see me there. Connect with me. Hit me up. If you need me to come through, talk to your leaders, talk to your teams, one-on-ones, just hit me up and everything. But once again, appreciate you guys for allowing me to be on here. And I had a great time. And you guys continue to search this out, man, and continue to share this out to everybody that you know, because somebody is waiting for you to share it out because something that they said is going to hit them. So,
and we definitely appreciate you. Thank you for being the guest. And like I said, I know we got some future collaborations that are finally, hopefully, get sparked off this
I'm
year,
retired,
2025.
man. Come on,
You know what I'm saying? So, just we got each other's information. We'll get on that.
Yes,
So now we heading to the segment for the detour moment with Erica.
All right. That detour moment. Before I begin, if you want to book me for speaking engagements or for coaching, you can book me at www.ericadjackson.com. That's it. I'm sorry. I changed the web address. So, yeah, that's www.ericadjackson.com. You can also email me at Ephesians6pro@gmail.com. This is for anything, workshops, colleges. If you need me to coach your students, whatever you need, feel free to book me. So with today's detours moment, I'm coming at you with the scripture today. Philippians 1:6, one of my favorite scriptures. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion unto the day of Jesus Christ. You guys, listen, he's already began a good work in you. We've had so much to happen to us. We've had so many things that's keeping us down. We have so many things that if we wanted to, yeah, we could give up in the detour. But with so much that even Lawrence said today, you can't stop there. You got to keep moving forward. The destiny is already there. The destination is already fixed. You already got this. All you got to do is keep that scripture in your head. Study on it day and night. Let it stay in your brain. There's so many scriptures that can get you through so many things that you're going through to keep you from staying in the detour.
Righty, that was very enlightened words, Erica, that you just said. Before I get to the brain drop, if you need a speaker for your group of young men, young women, be on a panel, like I always tell you, I'm not a pastor or a politician, but I do have something to say, and I will drop something on your brain. Hit that link below at Jerry Davis, Linktree /Jerry Davis, or you can also reach me at author, like a book author, jdavis@gmail.com. I'll be glad to come and be of service to you and have engaging conversation and host your event as well. So just hit me up on the Linktree /Jerry Davis as well as my email. So the brain drop for the day is, in trying times, don't quit trying. Let me say that again. In trying times, don't quit trying. We're living in a time where we're in trying times right now. And a lot of things have gotten bad. They're probably going to get worse before they get better. And this is just as a whole, but then in your personal life, no one knows what you're going through unless you allow to share that with them, depending on how close you are with people. And even then, people still don't know other things that you deal with. But in trying times, the operative word is trying. You should never stop trying to make it better. You should never stop trying, connecting and reverence the Most High, the Heavenly Father. You should never stop trying, being resilient and having perseverance. You should never stop trying and believing in yourself even when others don't. And it's easier said than done, but let's face it. If you're a grown man or grown woman, you're supposed to do things differently than what a boy or girl would do. So in trying times, once again, don't stop trying. So whoever that's for, I hope that you actually hear it, listen to it, digest it, chew on it, whatever you got to do in order to allow that to, like Erica says, manifest in your life. We have had a great show today. I'm glad for our guest, Lawrence, that came on. Appreciate you, brother, for coming on.
Thank you.
Want to shout out to all our listeners. Once again, also, beginning May 1st, vote for the C.A.P podcast for the Memphis Elegance Awards Podcast of the Year 2025. Voting begins May the 1st, which is in a few weeks. We've worked so hard. This is our third season. And if we ever had anything, or you a follower of ours, and you enjoy this podcast, we are asking for your votes for the Memphis Elegance 2025 Podcast of the Year. So definitely do that to all the listeners out there. Tell your friends, tell your mother, them, whoever. Vote. If we have ever impacted you in a positive way with our content, because that's our desire, that's our goal and objective. And if you only know how hard we work to put this together, despite everything that goes on. So definitely do that.
Absolutely.
And before we say goodbye, like I always leave you with, if you're going to be anything in life, be for real. This is JD.
And this is Erica J.
Peace.